G'day, everyone, and welcome to the DUC Migrating to Australia podcast. My name's Wes Zan, and today I'm joined by Leigh Chadwick and Katie Crashley. So, girls, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you.
You've been on podcasts before, talking about your journeys through Australia, and what do we have, Leigh? I think we had with you the wife of a miner, and that is a miner, as in someone who works in the mines. And then Katie, you were our super swimmer who was up early in the mornings with the family, dragging the kids out to do the daily swim to freshen up in the mornings.
Yeah,
And we got to hear your stories. And today we're going to talk a bit about the DUC Employment Hub, a product that the Down Under Centre has had for a long time. I'm really proud of this product, and I'm very proud that you two lovely ladies are representing the Down Under Centre and doing a great job helping our clients find work. So, yeah, thanks for everything you guys do. And I guess first question, what is the Employment Hub?
Yeah, so the Employment Hub is mainly a tool. It's designed to connect like migrants like you guys and to employers that we work with. It's like a personal profile that you can create that allows like potential employers to connect with you and to see like all of your progress. It has like multiple purposes. It houses all of our current roles that we're looking to fill, as well as being a space that migrants can use to showcase like their skill sets and all of their experience. And also it helps you show employers your progress, whether you're looking for like an employer sponsorship or if you're going down like the skilled route. It allows them to see where you're at, like what stage you're at, whether it's if you've completed a skills assessment, if that's required, if you've if you've done like an English test again, if that's required. It's a great way of, like we always say, don't we, Katie? It's like having a resume, but a much more personalized way. You can upload photos like we wouldn't normally recommend on a resume. It's more probably not for kind of teachers and nurses professions, but for like tradies, like electricians and plumbers and carpenters, they want to showcase their skill set, which is what the employers kind of want to see. Like they want to read on the resumes and see what you can do, but being able to visualize it and see pictures is such a bonus to employers. Like when people are applying for a job, if we can show them the Employment Hub profile, employers love it. Like we get such good feedback from it because they get to see more of that person than what they can see on a resume.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I remember when we built it many, 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 many years ago. I reckon it's been about 8 years, that product. It's got like thousands and thousands of people using it over the years, which is good. I really enjoyed, girls, when we made it, that we actually had 10 previous clients, they're all probably in Australia and all that now, actually work with us on us, because the concept was sort of saying, well, look, how do you reach out? How does a migrant reach out to people, employers in Australia that really don't understand the process of migration? So what you touch base on there, Leigh, is how you got the map of the UK, if that's where you're from, at the top,
Yeah.
and then you've got the map of Australia down the bottom, and you've got a plane that activates. So each time, if you're going on the skilled independent visa where you do an English test, the skills assessments, put an expression of interest, get an invitation to apply, there's all these stages that you do. Each time you update it, your plane moves closer to Australia, because for those for people that are arriving in Australia with a visa, that the condition isn't arriving with a job like an employer-sponsored visa, there's no point employers starting to chat with you if you're only at skills assessment stage. We want the employers to see that, you've had your invitation to apply, you've got a potential arrival date. And then the beauty of it too is when you hit that arrival date, or when you are in Australia, your actual Employment Hub profile stays live. So if you've got it going and you've been in Australia for a few months, it's actually live and active for employers to view.
Yeah, I think it's the start as well. Like when, for us personally, obviously we, moved over here with as a migrant as the beginning, but when we first created a profile, it was the excitement of ticking off that next box and waiting for that plane to like move down a little bit. And I know that was the same. We used to get so much feedback, was the same thing as how do we get our plane to move closer or to the bottom? And yeah, it was excitement of like ticking each thing off.
Some planes run out of fuel, Leigh and Katie, didn't they? When the pandemic hit, they got stuck a little bit at certain stages.
Couldn't go any further. Yeah, stagnant plane.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal, but yeah, and I think I guess Yeah, you explained it really well. Like it's a good tool, and you can upload photos and videos for our trade employees. That's what they want to see, guys. If you're a welder, fabricator, if you're doing stuff like that, even your carpentry, pretty much every trade. When you're doing your skills assessment, you need to do photos and videos. Upload them to your client portal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You
Doesn't
also
hurt.
you have the chance to be able to put like references as well. So if you've got references from customers that you've done work for or previous employers you have references for, you can upload those. Any qualifications you've got, if you've got working at heights qualifications tickets, you can upload as many as you want to your profile as well, which obviously you wouldn't normally do with like just a resume. And obviously you have the option that, I know, like me, if you don't like recording videos, you can upload a video still, and you have like a photo box at the top where you can upload like a nice photo of like a family or, you know,
No
any
mug
photo
shots,
you want to
listeners.
bring it.
What do you reckon, Lee and Katie? No mug shots, guys. You got it. This is like sometimes people put like a passport photo on there. This is your first impression to an
Yeah.
employer. If you've
Gotta
got
be
a family, take a photo, sit on the couch, you
professional.
got to be approachable.
Yeah.
Mug shots are a big no-no.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And you also you can write kind of a little bio, can't you, as well, which, and people ask me, what do I write? And if I was to give an example, it's hi, I'm, a carpenter or I'm a metal fab and been doing it for X amount of years. And I really want to move to Australia for this reason, for a better life and work balance. And I'm hoping to move within the next 6 months. Just do a kind of a short, brief little roundup of what you would want to say to an employer if you're on phone call for like a 5-minute phone call, quickly just put all of that into one little brief description. And yeah, it just appeals to an employer so much more than a bit of paper.
Yeah, it's good. And we can share it as well. Like, obviously first impressions count. You only really get one first impression with everyone in life. So if you can hit the ball and people can look at it and go, wow, I think that's so the way the Employment Hub works, you actually upload everything and then you save it. But when you save it, then it's saved so the employer can see it. And you also have a button on there which you can actually click to see what the employer sees. It's one of my favorite websites actually, because it's quite clever how it's been built in the fact that you can view what you upload. When you're uploading, there's help. You've got the question marks, and then in the question marks, it will actually tell you and give you an example of what that is, what that section means. So you can upload it the best. But yeah, that's it's really good. And you mentioned tracking the progress. How does that work?
Yeah, so they can go on and view. So as I was saying before, with the skills, like you can track that. So for an employer, they might obviously, when you're applying for a job via the Employment Hub, we have a questionnaire that you complete anyway, which asks you kind of basic details. If you've done a skills assessment, which state you're looking to move to. This gives us a good indication of what areas you're open to job opportunities for. And it's the same kind of concept as the employers can view your profile and see, oh, okay, they're looking to move in 6 months or 12 months, or, oh, this is a photo of like all of their work, or, oh, okay, they've done a skill. So if you're like a licensed trade, that's a big step forward. And that might be a big advantage over other people that haven't yet done a skills. And it's the same kind of concept of they can track so much more about you.
Yeah, it's good. I even like how it's got all the relocation tips as well to it.
Yeah.
Like you can click on links and find out things. It's sort of like the Relocation Hub website, but your own sort of personal one with our partners on it. It doesn't obviously share. Well, I guess it does link to the relocation website, which is great. Always got to plug that one too, guys. The relocation website, Lisa's Pride and Joy. That's an amazing website built by migrants for migrants. Yeah, jump on that one for sure.
Yes, you have links to all of the partners, such as like the furniture shipping, banking, money transfers. Like there's so much in the Employment Hub that you have access to.
I think it's important because one of the things, if you are a tradie or if you're looking to employ, so listeners, just be, some employers are adamant they just want to sponsor because they like the idea of having that person around for a couple of years, well, between 2 to 4 years, but after 2 years, they can nominate you for permanent residency. I'm so annoying like that. I know Leigh and Katie always have to put in a little visa rule just to explain it, just to make sure we're getting it right. But and then some employers are just, great. Person's rocking up with the visa. What else are they rocking up with? Are they bringing a car? Are they bringing their tools? And the Employment Hub actually, you can tick boxes and say that you're bringing tools. So are you arriving job ready? What a dream for
Yeah.
an employee to have someone that's, that's job ready, that hasn't cost them any money. Pretty good result.
It demonstrates to the employer as well that you are serious about moving. So yeah, they've got the resume in front of you, and yeah, they've got these amazing photos, this amazing evidence. But if they can see that you've got everything else in order, you've potentially sold your house, you've got bank accounts sorted, your finances are all in place. They know that you're coming. They know that you're not going
Yeah.
to be a flight risk. So that is an absolute green flag for an employer.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And guys, if you are doing your skills assessment, you are a tradie, make sure you do upload your Aussie Qual as well. That's the other thing too. And what I was getting at before was you actually can click a button when you want to go live to employers and when you don't want to go live to employers. So don't go live to employers until you've done a fair bit of it. Okay, so don't just answer a few little sections and go live to employers, because when you go live to employers, the employer actually gets a message to say someone's that. So it's kind of like a dating app, I guess, isn't it? For between employers and migrants. So what the employer does, the employer can say, look, they're looking for carpenters, for example, or nurses, teachers, physios, whatever it is, right? For New South Wales. So when you go live, any of those employers using it, they'll actually get a message to say someone else has uploaded the profile, and then they can, and then they view the profile, and it's up to them if they want to, view you. So works really well. Apologies, guys. That's the doorbell. So yeah, it's really good. So just make sure you are definitely going. You're going to make it good, because those first impressions definitely, yeah,
They do count, and we have so many applications that come in for each role. And I think this just puts you at a more advantage, because you've got so much more to show than someone that's got just a resume on its own. Obviously, the main things they look at are obviously your skill set, what you can do. But yeah, this definitely shows so much more to like the employers.
yeah. And if you are clicking employer sponsored, it's good. Just be clear. If you come from a passport, if you have a passport that a skills assessment's required for it, start getting all the documentation gathered for the skills. Don't necessarily pay for the skills assessment yet. Start getting everything gathered for the skills assessment. So if they do reach out to you, you can actually say to them, look, I haven't paid for my skills assessment, but I've got everything I need. Because once they know that you've got everything you need, they know that you're serious about it. That's what Katie was going before. Like the employer wants to know. They're just getting smashed, aren't they? When you speak to the employers, girls, they put an ad out there and straight away they've got all these people applying, but don't apply to these employers saying, I want job, give me job, stuff like that. Make sure you get your English right. If you are planning on calling employers, guys, make sure you call them in Australian business hours. We definitely hear some of the employers, because we actually, when we advertise jobs, we'd actually give the mobile numbers out and give the employment detail, employers' details out. The employer has access to yours, because, that way we're not allowing them to be hassled. They have the right. But, that came about is because employers we advertise jobs, and people are calling us all hours of the night. They've got families and everything. So just make sure that you are being a bit respectful, because first impressions do count. For the 20th time, I probably said that. What positions do we have, guys? Where are we looking at positions-wise?
We've got positions all over the country at the minute. So we are looking for mechanics in WA, electricians. We're looking for air refrigeration mechanics in both WA, Northern Territory and Victoria. We've got Queensland, where we're looking for boilermakers, again, mechanics, hairdressers. Northern Territory, we've got a few more. We're looking for mechanical plumbers. South Australia, we're looking for brickies, boilermakers and fitters. And yeah, New South Wales, again, pretty much the same. We're looking for some speech and occupational therapists there as well. We've got stacks going at the minute, and all those that are on the hub at the minute, they're live. Which you can see exactly what we're looking for and when we're looking for it. One of the conversations that Leigh and I had earlier was about migrants asking us what sort of salaries to expect if you're just sort of at the early stages of your research. This is also a really good tool for that. So it doubles up as a research portal for you if you are looking to move in the future. Don't necessarily apply if you've got a timeline of 2026, but by all means go on there, have a look at the current opportunities and see what the salaries attached to that are. That's a really good way to fathom out where you might go and why you might go to that place, and give you a really good idea of budget for setting yourselves up for the future.
Yeah, really good point. And guys, you got the Employment Hub, but you've also got all the other main websites because sometimes with the Employment Hub, maybe the employer is going to cover the cost of sponsorship. So they'll, again, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put a little rule in when the employer markets jobs, guys. If they're looking for employer sponsored, when they do the market, the labour testing and everything like that, they can't offer someone less than what they've advertised when they do that. So sometimes what will happen is, let's say the current salary right now is of the 15th to the 8th, 2024, it's just under $74,000. You've got to pay someone on a sponsored visa. So let's say if they were advertising a job for $80,000 a year and it worked out that they will end up covering lots of the migrants' costs, some employers will say, okay, well, look, instead of us doing that, we've had this expense, we might offer you $77,000 for the year. So sometimes the jobs that they offer might sound lower, but it depends. So definitely when you're having a discussion with them, if you are interested in the location and getting a start, because I guess right now when we've got all these relocation agents with the DUC at the moment, there's so many challenges with migration, isn't there? Like finding a house is a massive challenge, and if you're arriving with a job, even better. And sometimes when you're putting in an expression of interest, to get a letter of offer from an employer to say, hey, look, we want this. Sometimes that can help as well. So arriving in Australia, job ready is massive.
Yeah, and the salary ranges, as Katie kind of touched over as well, we could have, and everyone's situation is different. So we could have a company that's offering 80 or to 90,000, but that kind of could vary on someone's circumstance. So if they come over here and they're like, do you know what, I'm job ready, I've got every bit of my documentation ready, I just can't quite afford to pay for flights yet, or, I might need a relocation agent to help me secure a rental. So I've got something. An employer, like you said, Wes, will say, do you know what, I'll offer you slightly less, but I'll cover your fares, like your airfares, and I'll cover the relocation as well. Like every person is different to their individual. Someone might have family that they're going to come and stay with, so they're like, don't worry, I don't need the relocation. So yeah, like it really varies from employer to employer, but some do offer relocation and others don't. Some will
What?
have
Yeah.
vehicle like for you to have instead, or fuel cards, which make a huge difference. So
I guess you don't expect it, do you? You just get it. I was chatting with Deborah, who's going to join us on a podcast as well. One of our, she's always looking for plumbers in WA. She actually got flights and also paid for half a relocation agent service, a home search service to help find that person a house. This guy got his visa granted, a 482 visa granted. And this is how upsetting immigration is at the moment, in 9 days.
Wow.
He wasn't even ready for it. And she's like, look, I need you here now. What can you do? And he's like, well, I've got, it just happened so fast. So they just worked it out. She needed him. He came over with the family and everything like that. It's just crazy. But, they offer that. Some other people offer, a $10,000 relocation package after you've been here for 12 months working for them. And then others don't. Others are like, no, we want you to put some money. Put some money on it because the risk is all them. And that's why one of the next podcasts we're doing, guys, is hearing from the employer and just trying to interview them and understand the risks that they feel that they have, because it's not tens of thousands of dollars to sponsor someone. You're probably looking at sort of $6,000 for the employer side. Then you've got the migrant side, probably another $6,000. It all depends on which family you've got. But it's also the fact that that person's going to represent your business. And that's why I like the Employment Hub, because, you can sort of really put your culture in there. That's why we allow you to do a little video if you want to do one. You can put a nice little photo at the front of your profile. You can upload photos and videos with everything, because that's who's going to be representing your company. So when we go ahead and build these things like the relocation website, we don't just wing it. We ask both parties, what do you want to know, migrant and employer? What do you want to know? How does it work? And the employers we were so grateful. So many employers were just, yeah, we need them. This is what we're looking for. Can you get this information from them? This is what we'd love to see. And the web developer was like, yeah, this is, it was a really fun product. So how do people access the Employment Hub, guys?
So you can go on to the Employment Hub website. So once you've either created your profile, even if you don't have a profile, you can go on to the DUC Employment Hub website, and there's a job opportunity section, and you can select which category, whether it's kind of construction jobs or healthcare, teaching. You can select the jobs. When you find a job that you think is suitable, you can click on apply now. And then that's when it brings up the questionnaire. So you can go on, fill out all of your details, and then the job then comes to us, and then we review it. We will put, if we can see you've got, this is where your Employment Hub comes in handy. If we can see you've completed your Employment Hub profile, we'll put that, build an application for you, and then put you forward to an employer. So there's heaps of jobs on there that obviously you can apply for, but there is also a section that if you go on and you don't see a job that's the right fit for you, there is like another questionnaire that you can complete. You can put in, what your occupation is. It will come to us, and we do work with other recruiting companies as well that we can say, well, actually, yeah, like we might have something slightly different, but it could work for you. So yeah, if your job isn't on the Employment Hub, we still might have other options for you.
But we're not look, guys. You're not paying for a job, right? We're not one of those weird businesses that do that. It's just we work out a tool for us as a business. We process sponsored visas. Okay, we process skilled visas. So our earning is to process visas. So we allow employers to advertise roles on the Employment Hub. We charge them a tiny marketing fee, or depending on the situation. There's sometimes we don't. It all varies, but the idea is we get to process the visas. And then we had one the other day, Leigh, where one of our clients was, frustrated a bit because one of the employers, they applied for a job and the employer sort of was messing them around a little bit. And then she's like, oh, but the job's still on there. And I had to explain to them, because they're such a lovely, they're so nice. They just were, they're awesome people. And I was like, sometimes, that they're looking to sponsor, but also employers love the idea of people arriving with a visa. So we're not necessarily going to take the job off if they, not going to sponsor anymore. They still could just be looking for people arriving because, it's hard for us. We want to be able to help everybody, putting them in there. And the other thing too is positions get filled. You could be talking to, it could be a hairdressing job in a remote part on the Sunshine Coast that needs one person. We might fill that, and then it disappears. So always be checking on it. Usually when we do our monthly migration webinars, I'll sort of run through. Leigh and Katie, you guys do a really good job and sort of tell me what jobs we have that month come in. And there's always lots of jobs that come in. Leigh, you said something that was right. When you go to www.ducemploymenthub.com. Go to job opportunities, click the field you're in, find the job, apply directly to the employer. Okay. No point asking us, how did it go and everything like that. We're definitely going to pass it off to the employer. We're not we don't hire the people. We'll process the visas and work with the employer to answer the questions to make sure that you're eligible for a sponsored visa and everything like that. But yeah, there's no point chasing us up. If it's gone off to the employer, it's purely up to the employer to do that. Let's move away from the Employment Hub, guys. You guys, are the specialists. I mean, Katie, you did a good stint working with one of Australia's largest recruitment companies with the DUC, which was good. And I mean, do you have any tips or something for migrants when they're looking to apply for jobs?
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, sort of specifically just referring back to the employment, yeah, we need you to keep that as up to date as possible with your images and videos. But when it comes to applying with us using our application system, the questionnaire, we need you to be as accurate as possible with the information that you're sharing with us. So your desired location, if you're not willing to move to the Northern Territory, please don't tick it. It doesn't mean anything to us if you tick extra ones. We don't see you in any different light if you look like you're willing to move elsewhere. If you're not willing to move that place, please don't tick it, because if you're not suitable for that particular job, we might share you with another employer. And if it's one in the Northern Territory and you don't want to go there, then it's a waste of their time. But equally, we know that timeframes are really difficult, and that's one of the questions on the questionnaire is a rough timeline. Both Leigh and I are migrants. We know firsthand that gauging a time frame for being on shore is really, really difficult. But if you are not looking to move until, end of 25, 26 and beyond, like I mentioned earlier, just use it as a tool for your own research, or even just email us to see if there's any opportunities that have got a bit more longevity in them. We do have employers that have got a larger projection for their employment timeframes. Might not necessarily be something that we've posted on the hub. So yeah, just reach out to us and ask if there's something appropriate for you and the timeline that's suited to you. But yeah, just be as honest as you can on the application and just let us know if you've got any questions. Just reach out to us directly.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we do get a lot of people that will write on the questionnaires and say they're looking to move as soon as possible.
Mm.
But if that isn't realistic, or you do want to know more about, we can never guarantee like timeframes. But yeah, like I think we have quite a few employers that like, great, they're looking to move ASAP and they're desperate for work where they're having to turn away work because they haven't got enough trades to work for them. So sometimes they might be like, do you know what, this person said they're looking to move ASAP. But then when it gets to the interview stage, and they're offered a job, it's suddenly like, oh, actually, I can't move just yet. It's going to be like another 12 months or something. So we don't want to waste your time, and we definitely don't want to waste the employer's time
The
either.
employer will get annoyed. They'll
Yeah.
be fuming. Like they've had to waste time on it. And I think I say this in most webinars. Like Australia is like a large country en masse, but it's actually a small. It's so many small little towns. Everyone knows everyone's business. If you're going to get to Australia and think that you can pull the wind over people, and especially with employers talk, mate.
Yeah.
There's so much work out here that competition's it's just different. Like competition that you just if you're a tradie, if you're whatever you're in, everyone's supportive of each other in the businesses, in their fields, their
Yeah.
occupations. So yeah, it's a really good point in that, guys, just to make sure that you just take some time to think of it. Don't rush it. You shouldn't rush anything with
Yeah,
migration.
absolutely. Yeah.
Nothing. Australia is not going anywhere. Don't rush it. Don't make a choice or a decision that could backfire in the background. There's so much information out there, and if you've got the right people giving you the information, you'll be sweet.
Yeah, we would much rather you guys come to us and ask us questions than filling out the questionnaire and then us passing you on to an employer and then realizing that you're just not anywhere near the, beginning to pack up and leave. So yeah, like that's what we're here for as well, to like help and to guide you guys.
Yeah, it's definitely not a generic system. We don't need you to fill in the questionnaire if you don't feel ready. We're here to talk to you and help guide you through it. And like I said, we can give you those tips and tricks on how to make yourself more visible and how to make yourself more approachable. Just talk to us.
So when is the best time for applying for jobs?
Oh, I think that's a hard one. Like, if you are looking for employer sponsorship, I would say is the first one. Our employers typically, obviously, they approach us because they're like, I really need people. So as soon as someone can land and work, that is great. But realistically, like Katie kind of touched over, we've got some companies that will be looking for you to arrive any day or 6 months. A general is ideally, I want someone to arrive within 6 months. That's kind of a realistic time for the visa and everything else. But we also have some companies that will say, do you know, I've got so much ongoing work. Whoever is skilled, I will look at them, even if it's not going to be until 7 to 9 months or something like that.
There's a lot going on in Australia, so these companies are making, they're making much larger projections as well. So yeah, like we said, just drop us an email and let us know what your timeline is.
Yeah, and if you're applying for a skilled visa, there is no point in applying if you're only kind of at EOI stage. If you that's the route you're going to go down, you are so far off that I probably wouldn't recommend that's the best time to apply. Again, if you find a job and you're like, this, I'm at EOI stage, but this looks like the perfect job, drop us an email and we'll be able to give you a bit more background information on that employer and say, yeah, that's fine. We'll get in touch with me as soon as you've lodged your visa, get in touch with us, and then we'll then put your application forward to the employer.
Yeah, well said. Well said, because we do get there's so many companies that are just screaming that there's growth everywhere, which is really good. So, what about employers? What do they look for when they're hiring?
I mean, it's the skill set and the experience that they want. That's down on paper. We've got that on the hub. You can see that on the applications when you're sending it in. But obviously, along with any of the relevant qualifications, skills, and certificates, they're also looking for people that are really forthcoming in the communication, getting back to us, the employment team, and directed to the employers as well in a timely manner. That always reflects really well. I will say that being willing to get up at 3 a.m. for an interview does reflect extremely well. I remember when my husband was interviewing for jobs, there was one at 2 a.m. and then one at 4 a.m. and then one at 6 a.m. So it's obviously not ideal, especially if you've got young kids and they're waking up with you. But the willingness to do something a little bit different, to be able to get in front of them and talk to them really, really does reflect well.
Definitely, it does. Like, I think, and that is one thing that Katie and I always have discussions with our employees is it's the attitude of the people. I think if they're willing to get up a bit earlier or stay up later to do a Teams call, if you're applying for a job in Queensland, have a look at the time zone, see what time it is currently over there versus like the UK time, because that goes so far with our employers, and they'll say, look, do you know what? I had an interview, they were still in bed, they hadn't got changed yet, and they appeared for an interview. Like, that is definitely not what we want to promote, So again, we can give you some tips on how to be approachable, or what probably questions to ask us, or equally, we touched over as well, our employers are a bit nervous sometimes if they've only just set up as a sponsor. They don't know what to expect, so we're trying to like guide them as well, and we ask them to, or we tell them what questions they could ask you guys, and vice versa. We'll say to you, look, do some research, make sure you know the area as well. Like, if you're going to apply for a job and you see what suburb it is in or what location, Google it, do some research, and then when you are, being interviewed, you can say, oh, great, yep, I've looked at the location, this looks great for us. And that's that, like you said, it's like a dating app, but we're just trying to pick you with the right employer and make sure that you're a good fit and you're a good match. And equally, we don't want you to come here, go into a job and then not like it. Like, we want you to go to a job and want to stay there for years, and we encourage employers to give a good salary and good incentives, because then you are more likely to want to stay with that company, especially when you're relocating with family. Like, obviously Kate and I, we've both done it. You've done it, Wes, Lisa's done it. Like, we've all moved, and when you have kids, you have so much pressure to get it right first time. We definitely didn't get it right. We went to a suburb, the school that was close to us wasn't great, so then we ended up having to pull the kids from school, put them into another school, move to a different suburb, check that the suburb was like affordable to buy like later on in years. So there is so much pressure to get it right. You probably might not get it right, but if we can help by finding that really good employer, then that's like a massive win for us.
Yeah.
Also for your family, like getting the kids settled is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like you said, finding schools, getting yourself like sort of, so you got to work to earn money. So if you can arrive and have a good job, and just guys, when you first get here, try and enjoy it. Remember the reasons why you migrated. Okay. As soon as you start, if you're a nervous person, or if you're thinking, oh, I bottle things up and I don't like change and stress, and you're struggling with the visa side and you're stressing out about that. When you get to Australia, you really have to manage your expectations. Take it, like just go for a walk, have a, just sing a song, do whatever, like do whatever you need to do internally to make yourself feel, I don't know, to declutter maybe, because there's so much when you first move here. And employment, some of these employers are just there. Like some of them are just, like when we speak to Deborah's grouse, grouse, that's it, means good. She's, they care. Like, I don't know, I think that's what you're getting, Oz, like the employers care. I know your employer cares, ladies. He's a legend.
Well, just
no,
they do.
They really do care, and we have it as well. Where we're talking about you guys getting up at 3 a.m., 5 a.m. for an interview, for a meeting. We have employers staying at the office until 8 o'clock at night to speak to you guys, or going in, at 5 a.m. in the morning to speak to you. They will work around you as well. We're not putting you in front of employers who are absolute demons. These are good people that we work with. We are very picky about who we work with. We're not going to set you up with anybody who's going to, make you feel absolutely terrible in your interviews. We have to work with these people too. And me and Leigh don't want to work with horrible people. So we're not going to put it in front of you guys.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Okay, so putting a resume together is like a pretty big part of it, right? I assume, like the resume, CV, same thing, obviously, just worded differently, spelt differently. But what are some tips, guys?
Okay, so basic tips. Everyone knows all this, but we'll just go through because not everybody has a resume. If you don't have a resume, make one. If you don't think it's great, send it to us. We can help you, okay? But employers, they're not looking for these resumes that are super long. 2 pages is enough. If you want to add more detail, definitely add a cover letter. When you're doing your application questionnaires on the hub, you can upload multiple documents. So if you've got more to say, this is your opportunity to do it. And obviously we've said about attaching skills assessments and other evidence as well. That's fine. But please sell yourself in your resume. Like Leigh mentioned earlier, you are up against a lot of applications. We get a lot of applications per position. So please sell yourself. Don't be too modest. I know as Brits, it's a bit of a tendency to be too modest and it's really difficult to sell yourself, but please do. And as much as we want it to be, 2 pages, 3 max. You need to give as much detail as possible in that short space. We get a lot of resumes that's just lists of the skills and experience. Some of it, we're looking at one-word structures with bullet points. We want bullet points, but we want them in sentences as well. And if you can relate this to the job description that you have applied for, brilliant. If it doesn't fit with your resume, don't panic. That's what a cover letter can be for. So yeah, but like I said, if you're struggling with it, if you've gone from school to an apprenticeship to looking at this and you've never done a resume in your life, we can help you with that. We've got somebody on board at the Down Under Centre that can do that. So
yeah, she does an awesome job too.
And images. Don't put images on your resume. Keep them for the hub.
Definitely.
We get a lot of images on resumes, and it's not always welcome depending on the employer. So yeah, just keep them to the hub.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. So there's lots of tips, guys. So I guess, look, the Employment Hub's a tool you can use. We're very proud of it. I love working with you guys because you do care. We're not miracle workers, guys, just because you want to move to Australia. We don't we're not going to really reach out. Sometimes we can reach out to employers if you're already connected with them and explain how the visa side works and everything like that. We're more than happy to. Our visa team are more than happy to do that. But cold calling on your behalf isn't sort of something that we do. It's something that'd be your responsibility because it's your first impression that you're going to make with that company. So if you see jobs out there that don't come through the Employment Hub or whatever, definitely apply. And if they've got questions, more than happy. The DUC are more than happy to chat to them. Someone from the visa team can sort of run through. We sort of send them basic questions on what the cost breakdown is, so they know. I wish you guys all the best. Katie, Leigh, anything you guys want to add before we shut this podcast down?
I don't think so, other than just we're here to answer.
And we're really nice and really approachable. So there you go.
Yeah, we are approachable. Yeah. And we, like I said, you said before, we're not like hardcore recruiting or anything like that, or recruiters, sorry, but we just want to try and match you up with as many employees as we possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. You got to be in it. Do you know what I'm more like? I'm super proud because if you followed our other podcast, we managed to get away with my baby Jasmine not interrupting us, Lisa's cat not hitting her microphone down, Katie's chickens not pecking at the door, and Leigh, your puppy dog not coming through his little dog door. We've actually done pretty well, haven't we?
I know we have done. Apart from a doorbell and some vibrations of a phone ringing, I think somewhere along, we've done pretty well.
It could have been.
Oh yeah, that was mine. I haven't turned it down. And but guys, look, we wish you, as always, all the best with your journey to Australia. I hope you enjoy these podcasts. If you want us to talk about anything else, we're going to do. We are going to have a podcast that we're trying to arrange, which is going to be quite fun, where we're going to battle of the states. I reckon we're going to hit Lisa's team up, her relocation agents up, and then sort of ask them questions. What do you reckon, Katie and Leigh? Fight them off against each other, like
WA will come on top. WA will we have the weather. What else could you want? The best beaches, the best sunsets.
Well, this could be a taster, Katie. You need to fight back. You're in South Australia. What would you say to that one?
I don't want all my beaches filled. You can go to WA.
Oh, there you go. Yes, the hidden city, the hidden state, the quiet achiever. South Australia always does well. But yes, we'll have a bit of fun with that one. So, guys, cheers for listening, and thank you, girls, for joining us. Appreciate everything you do for the business and for our clients. Take care, everyone.
Bye.